Now, Penworth Radio, it's time for our next guest today. What a lineup we have already had on the show. Let's say hello to the one and only, it's Scott Robinson. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good indeed.
Now, Scott, I'm so pleased that you've come on the show because I've been following your amazing success that you've had with the big reunion and how Five have come back with such an impact. I mean, talk us through how you feel about the big reunion because it's done so many things for you guys as a band.
Oh, I mean, it's great, to actually be part of something that's actually paid off and it's actually worked. I mean, we always felt quite confident that the show would do well, being on ITV, and not being on one like the smaller channels trying to sort of break through. So we knew it was going to sort of do okay, but we never could have envisaged, doing so well when the show, getting a second series and us off the back of that show doing our own tour and stuff. So it's fantastic for us, and we owe a lot to ITV for making the show.
And like I said, who would have known that this show would have left to a massive arena tour, which was, sellout. That must have been, kind of, for you as a band, must have been amazing, because you're doing things that you did, back 10 years ago, or, 10 or 12 years ago. So you were back together performing, and it seemed like you had so much fun doing it, and it's like that's where you belonged.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I've been doing gigs up and down the country for 6 years, and for the last 3 years of that, Abs had joined me, and we were doing shows together. So me and Abs knew there was a lot of love out there for Five, and the other boys weren't too sure. They were like, are people going to still want to listen to our songs? And I was like, listen, they're going to go crazy, believe us, And when we got the arena tour, sold out every ticket, and everyone was going absolutely mental for Five, I turned to Sean and Rich and said, look, I told you that people were still interested in listening to these songs, because they were good songs, and I think it took the other boys a little bit longer to embrace them as songs and to realise that they are good.
I mean, obviously, when you guys did come back together, there was one member short. Now, initially, how did you feel about Jay not coming back to the band? I mean, what was going through your mind when you found that out?
I suppose instantly I was a bit gutted, and I thought, he's let us down or whatever, and I was a bit disappointed. But, after I chilled out and I thought about it, he's entitled to his own opinion of what he wants to do with his life. And if it's his choice that he doesn't want to be famous, then we have to respect that. And, I think it's pretty clear on the big reunion that me and Jay had, some issues back in the day. But that's no reflection on what I think of him now. As I've said in interviews in the past, I've only ever asked questions about what Jay was like when I was in the band with him 12 years ago. I've never asked a question about, what's Jay like as a person now? Would you go for a beer with him? And the answer to them questions would have been yes. I've got no problem with Jay whatsoever.
And have you...
as I said, it's his choice.
And have you spoken to him since the big reunion? Have you kind of had any contact with him?
Yeah, I spoke to him about 10 minutes into the first episode of the On Tour series.
Oh, that's good.
He phoned me and I answered and said, Mr. Brown, how are you? and we had a chat. And as I said, I said, I've got nothing against you, and he said, no, I've got no problem with what you said, Scott. He said, because you said the truth. He said, and I've not said a bad word about you. I said, well, great, and if he had said something, about me, or he said he had contradicted what I'd said, that wouldn't have been true. I stood to my guns and said I will tell the truth in this whole documentary. Whatever questions I'm asked, I will answer them honestly. And so I wasn't nervous or worried about Jay coming back. I wasn't thinking, I wish I hadn't said that now because I lied. I didn't care, and I wish him all the best, and I hope he's happy. I really do.
I mean, what's next for you now and you guys as a band? Because like you said, you've come off this amazing new platform. You're back out there and people are still, they've got into your music again. People have found their new love for Five, even with new people that have not heard of you guys before the big reunion. So what's next for you now as a band?
Well, we're going to Australia. We're going to Australia this month. We're doing an Australian tour out there, which is fantastic when you think that the big reunion ITV show wasn't shown in Australia. So we've sold out a tour out there off of our own backs from 12 years ago when we were big in Australia. So that's fantastic. And we took a bit of a risk doing that, but it seemed that the market was still there, and we've gone for it. After that, we come back. I think we have one solitary day off, and then we go into our UK tour, and then we meet back up with the Big Reunion guys to do the O2 and stuff again. And I think we're doing a Birmingham and a Manchester arena. And we've sold out a matinee at the O2 as well. So
wow.
There'll be three O2s sold out by the Big Reunion, which is pretty special.
I think obviously you know that we did have Abs on the show last week. One of the questions I asked was, in regards if you guys were going to make any new music, and he kind of said not at the moment. So is that something that maybe in the future you guys may look at, maybe releasing some new material, or are you gonna kind of just stick with what you're doing at the moment with the tours? And
it's difficult. I mean, I'd like to make new music when the time was right. I don't think the time is right now. Although I do think people would buy it. I don't think they know what they want. The fans are really enjoying listening to the old songs, and we're really enjoying performing them. And we're just getting back into the swing of things. And I think it's a hard one because it's slightly arrogant of you to bring a single out right now. Strike while the iron's hot, and and cash in. We don't want to do that. We will make music if the time is ready, and if the fans, in 6 months' time are still screaming that they want it.
Well, like I said,
they might not be.
Well, like I said, on looking at this when you were doing the shows, I mean, when you guys were coming out on stage, the response you were getting was absolutely amazing. I mean, the fans were screaming and people were singing your songs when you're walking down the street. So I kind of think if this was something you were to do in the future, I think it could definitely work because, like you said, the fans are definitely still there.
It's completely different now, though. It's all about live performances now, and it's very hard to promote a new single. And when you're going out and you're singing that new single, it's a bit of a flat part in the set because no one knows it, and they have to live with it for a while. So, we want to go out and rock these shows, and we are doing with the old music. I think if we then put in a new one, people will be like, yeah, it sounds good, but we don't know it. They want to sing along. They want to have their arms in the air.
Yeah.
And that's at the moment, that's what we want to give them.
Like I said, I've enjoyed this year seeing you guys come back together and obviously performing your many hits. I mean, when you're on stage, it brings it back how many hits you guys had and, how many chart hits and success you had. So it's amazing seeing you on this show. And
even we didn't realise how many hits we had. we kept on rehearsing them, going, this song's really good. Like, we was quite impressed ourselves.
I mean, we had a bit of a 5 melody last. We had when the lights go out, if you're getting down, slam dunk the funk, everybody. You guys had quite a lot.
Yeah. I mean, and it's quite funny. I mean, I've got two sons, and actually twins on the way. But yes, I've got 2 boys, and the 11-year-old and the 7-year-old, they love the songs, and they, especially Brennan, the eldest, he's 12 actually now, Brennan, and he. He's my biggest fan. He's so proud to watch me on stage. He knows all the lyrics. He knows all Abs's raps. He knows all Jay's raps. He knows everything. And, and even his school friends are singing the songs to him. And, they've watched the Big Reunion. So it's a whole new breed of fans. And even people that were fans of us back in the day are bringing their daughters and their sons to watch. And they're now fans, so it's mental.
Well, it's been amazing having you on the show. Thank you so much for speaking to us today on Penworth Radio, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to be doing next.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks,
Scott. Bye-bye.